Hello. Oh, goodness. Hello. I am so happy that you're here. My name is Jen, and I'm a physical therapist turned life coach um, after battling 20 plus years of burnout and overwhelm from juggling all the things as a people pleaser. I decided to hire a life coach, and because of my amazing transformation that I had working with her, I got certified as a life and mindset coach myself, and now am on a path to helping women just like myself and just like you. So I now have all the tools and the skills to help you overcome people pleasing and procrastination and break those patterns by putting yourself back on your priority list. So thank you for joining me for this video. And I'm so glad that you're here because we're going to talk about burnout, why we feel this way and what we can do about it. I'm going to be sharing my 15 top tips for overcoming burnout. But first we need to talk about what exactly is causing us to feel burnt out. So I chose this topic today because so many of you are feeling this way, and actually it's one of the main reasons why women join me as a life coach. They join my private coaching or my mastermind is because they are tired of feeling overwhelmed and burned out, and they've tried all these things to overcome it themselves, and they just can't do it. So I'm hoping that by going live and talking more about this feeling of burnout, that it's going to be helpful for you. But before we kind of jump into the topic, I also just wanted to share a story of one of my clients. She is a nurse practitioner. She works in a very busy hospital system. She also is the mother of three, two grown children who live outside of the house, but one middle school daughter and her husband live at home still. And she came to me suffering from severe anxiety and burnout. And when we started talking about what she was doing, she was just doing what so many of us do. We're juggling all of the things, right? We have this plate full of all the things that we're doing for everyone else except for ourselves, right? So we worked together through my mastermind and my coaching and really got her on a path to overcome her burnout and overwhelm. And a lot of the things that I'm going to share with you here are really going to be relatable, because they are very obvious things, but so often the obvious things are the things that we just don't do. We're thinking that just is too easy to be able to do that to solve my problems. But when you start stacking these things on top of each other, it really allows you to overcome the burnout and the overwhelm. And sometimes you do need help. Sometimes you need the help of a coach or a licensed therapist or psychologist. So let's dive in. Burnout can stem from a lot of different things: personal, professional, and societal factors. Here are some of the common reasons why, especially we as women, feel this way. I'm sure that men feel this way as well, but I'm a woman, so I'm speaking to women right now. And the top one, for me at least, this is part of my story and a lot of my clients, is career pressure. Balancing demanding careers with family responsibilities can lead to high levels of stress and exhaustion and anxiety. Parenting challenges, right? Depending on no matter what stage of life your children are, those challenges are there, whether you're in toddlers or teenage craziness like I am. There's always different demands on our time, and just juggling all of those can be emotionally and physically taxing. Caregiver roles. Also, as we start to age, so do our parents, and oftentimes we're asked to jump into now having a career, running a household, being a parent, but also helping aging parents, which is very, very challenging. Also, financial stress can lead to burnout, right? Managing financial responsibilities. Social expectations, the expectations that are out there regarding women's roles, and the pressure to meet these perceived crazy standards is just draining and killing us. Lack of self-care, lack of support, work-life imbalance can lead to burnout for sure. Perimenopause and menopause, for those ladies that are in that stage like me. Technology and having this always on culture, right? Because we always are on, right? We can always scroll social media and see what's going on at a moment's notice, right? Lack of recognition is a big one, and changing life priorities. So as we get into our 40s, 50s, and beyond, we have those changing life priorities. Maybe your children are leaving the nest and you're realizing that you're a lot more than a mom, right? And that can be a big shift in our role and our self-identity. So it's important to kind of recognize the signs of burnout and really prioritize self-care, seek support, make adjustments as you can. So with that, I'm going to give you my 15 top tips, okay? So I'm going to go through these not in detail. You can find a lot of detail by Googling or working with a coach or ChatGPT or any of the things, right? You can get information anywhere, but I wanted to put together a list where it's easy for you to kind of get started. Prioritizing self-care. This is one of the first things that we do in my mastermind is We come together and discuss habits, healthy habits that we can start implementing, because also as you start to grow and do this deeper inner work, you need to make sure that you're taking care of this vessel that has been given to you, right? So making self-care a priority and making it a non-negotiable, making it the first thing that you put in your schedule is very important. Some of the things around self-care include getting adequate sleep, eating healthy, right? Engaging in regular exercise or movement, whatever that might look like for you at the stage of life that you're in. And also like bringing in activities that bring you joy and relaxation. Again, I'm not asking you to do hours and hours of this. Like all of these things can be done in an hour, right? Besides eating healthy and sleep, we want you doing that a lot longer than an hour. So setting boundaries too. We focus a lot on this in my mastermind and in my coaching. And boundaries gets a bad rap because it's labeled boundaries. But really, all it is in a nutshell is learning how to effectively communicate your wants, needs, and desires, right? So prioritizing self-care, setting boundaries so that you can set clear expectations and help those relationships be healthier in the long run. Delegate responsibilities. This is a big topic that I'm talking about tonight on my webinar about how to gain 10 hours of time back in your month. So delegating is huge. So who can you delegate to, right? Think about the things that you can delegate to your kids, like age-appropriate activities. If they're 14 and 16, what should they be doing on their own, right? Number 4 is reevaluating your priorities. Reflect on those personal and professional priorities and consider what truly matters to you at this stage in your life and focus your energy on those, okay? Communicate with others. This is huge, right? We expect, at least I used to expect, people to read my mind and know what I wanted, especially my husband. But when you openly communicate your wants, needs, and desires and just share what you're feeling, it really does allow you to get that understanding and support that's needed and feel less alone. That's one of the biggest things with my mastermind. When we kind of end the mastermind and we're talking about like the beauty of the community, it really helps you feel less alone because all of us feel like we're out there in this huge world struggling and alone. And when you come together as a community of women, there's nothing really more empowering than lifting each other up, but also knowing that you're not alone in what you're going through. Sometimes you do need to seek professional help. I'm a big proponent on therapy, for sure. Working with a coach, working with a therapist to kind of get you over the hump is definitely on the top 15. Taking breaks, right? This is so hard for us women because there's always things that need to be done, right? There's always things that need to be done around the house, at work. Our to-do list are like a mile long, but make sure you're incorporating some rest into your daily routine, short breaks throughout the day. Take your lunch break, take 15 minutes for you, take a 5-minute break to get out of the office or out of the house and just get some fresh air. Try to budget in these peaceful pockets, is what I call them, of time throughout the day to just disengage and give yourself a break. Learning to say no. Again, this is a big boundary we're going to talk about tonight in my webinar. Be selective with the commitments that you take on, right? Prioritize those ones that make you feel joyful and make you feel like in alignment with the life you want to live. Establish healthy habits. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Evaluate and adjust your career goals, right? As life changes, you may no longer want to be the tippity top of your career because you know that comes with 80-hour work weeks and pressure, and maybe your priorities have shifted a little bit. So really take a look at those and make sure when you're looking at those career goals that you're not doing the shoulds. I was coaching a client yesterday and, she should be, working towards 20 years in the military because that's what everybody else does. But that's if that's going to make her miserable to get those 5 years that she needs, is it worth it, right? So kind of prioritize your needs and make sure you're focusing on what you want, not the shoulds that are out there from society or family members or history, right? Connect socially. This is huge. We are better together. So make sure that you're taking time to nurture those relationships that are important to you, that fill you up, okay? So pay attention to that because as you start growing, overcoming your burnout, overcoming your overwhelm, you may find that certain friends don't fill you up. They may drain you, and you might have to shift into spending more time with those people that lift you up and make you feel more full of energy. Time management, another huge one that we're going to talk tonight on my webinar about, is prioritizing your tasks and managing your time efficiently. And really kind of breaking down those larger tasks into more doable, smaller tasks to allow it to be easier to tackle. Because sometimes when we see this big, huge project in front of us, we get very overwhelmed, which leads us to feel more anxiety and burnout. This is a huge one. We do this on every single mastermind call. We celebrate the wins, right? So celebrate your wins, acknowledge and celebrate your achievements, even if the win is I didn't yell at my 16-year-old son today, right? Celebrate those wins. And recognize your success. This also boosts your morale and your motivation. And as women, we don't do this enough. We're more likely to celebrate our neighbor than we are ourselves, right? So take some time to celebrate yourself, please. Still celebrate the neighbor, because women, we all need to be celebrating one another, but also celebrate yourself. The last two, practice mindfulness. This is a huge one. And just to kind of incorporate mindfulness practices into your daily routine, like meditation, deep breathing can reduce your stress and improve your mental clarity, or even just like in one of those peaceful pockets of time. I just love that term. Just use your five senses. Like, just take a break and just like think about, like, what can you see? What can you smell? What can you feel? What can you taste? Kind of bring in your senses. It takes you out of the burnout mode and focus on the present. And last but not least, reevaluate and adjust as you go along, right? Regularly reassess your situation and be willing to kind of adjust your strategies and life as needed, right? Life is dynamic. It is a roller coaster, right? And be okay with pivoting and change, okay? So if you like this little mini lesson on burnout today and want my free Battling Burnout guide, go ahead and comment or message me wherever you're watching this replay, Burnout, and I'll be sure to send it over your way. Also know that I am on live in my private Facebook group all about wellness and well-being, and here on Instagram every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you topics that you have reached out to me and asked me to speak about. If you're interested in joining the Facebook group, reach out. I'll get you in there. It's all things wellness and well-being, full of value and incredible women in there. And with that, I hope you have an incredible day and enjoy the rest of your week.